Good evening, my dark minions. Welcome to Lady of Darkness Horror Podcast. I hope your week has gone well for you. Shall I attempt to make it a tad bit more creepy for you with a new special tale? This one is a rather twisted, dark one of an event that is supposed to be of a fun occasion. I hope in these dangerous times you are staying safe. Without further ado, let's dive in, shall we? Scarlett had been getting ready for the concert of the year. She had just turned 18 and she was determined not to let this special event go to waste. It was a Friday night and everybody was going to a huge concert and after party downtown. There had been this new heavy metal band called the Backmasked Freaks that had become extremely popular in the music industry. The band had earned themselves a very large fan base, and this concert was going to be the band's very first live performance. When the locals had started to make some noise about the band making an appearance in the local town, a large group of screaming fans had overrun the place. Crowds that were screaming teen girls, young adult women alike, filled the area with the sounds of roaring screams. Die-hard fans, who were teenage boys and young men of this notoriously known band, had now all changed their default appearance to that of the very same gothic style that was of the band's. Everybody who had been a fan had been overtaken with sheer excitement. Coming from a highly religious and strict family, Scarlett had been very excited to have left home. She had been thrilled to have been doing something that she had known her family would disapprove of. The thought of rebelling against their traditional upbringing, now as an adult, filled her with eagerness. It was already 9:15 and Scarlett had still found herself getting ready, rummaging through her closet for an outfit to wear. "Have you found an outfit yet? We're going to be late," Melissa complained. Scarlett gazed around at her friend's tidy studio apartment, then to her as she stood in the doorway of Scarlett's room. "Seriously, come on. We're going to be late. We can't be late for the Backmasked Freaks concert. It took me forever to get these damn tickets. We still have a chance to get front row seats," Melissa whimpered. Scarlett looked back at the selection of the clothes in the closet, and her eyes fell upon one of her most favorite gothic outfits. She was sure she could still wear it. The outfit had been given to her as a secret gift when she was 16 by her best friend Melissa. "Besides, that guy that you have the hots for is going to be there," Melissa cheered. Scarlett smiled as she put on her dark outfit. She always did get butterflies when she thought of Aaron Scott. "Really?" Scarlett asked, flustered. "Yes, really. Now come on before we're late," Melissa scolded. Scarlett gazed at her reflection, and her long red hair fell to her mid-back. A few moments later, Scarlett was walking to her best friend's car, ready for the concert and the thrill she was sure she would receive. Once they had arrived to the event, hundreds, if not thousands, of other cars had been parked in a nearly full parking lot. The area was brightly lit with loud music booming through the air. "Damn it! We're running late!" snapped Melissa. "I'm sorry," muttered Scarlett. Melissa gazed at Scarlett and could see her face had been filled with strong remorse and guilt. "Don't worry. Listen, we still have time to find empty seats. Now come on," Melissa encouraged. As the pair approached the event, Scarlett noticed that she could hear one of the band's #1 hits playing, and it had been simply titled Natasha Rules. Adrenaline had already started to rush through her body as she found herself bobbing her head to the catchy beat of the song. Everybody had loved this song. When it was released, Natasha Rules had remained #1 for over 3 weeks on the charts. The song was captivating in a way that anyone who would listen to it would immediately be seduced into a hypnotic trance, giving them the urge to sing along to the lyrics and dance. Scarlett never quite knew or understood the metaphor behind this song. She had gone everywhere online, sites such as Google, Reddit, Bing, you name it. Nothing but the song's lyrics would be presented to her. Scarlett, in time, had just given up with trying to understand the meaning of the song and had just learned to appreciate its entertainment. She figured the song couldn't have been meant nothing more but a song about a love interest whose relationship had gone sour, and maybe a written song perhaps could mend their broken heart. When they had arrived to the arena, there had been familiar and unfamiliar faces in a mob of dancing and singing people. Scarlett could already feel cold chills rising up within her body. It wasn't until now that she had come to the very strange realization. Everybody had been wearing black shirts with big, bold, red letters that read, Natasha Rules. Scarlett figured that the act alone was just a form of loyalty from fans to show their support. Melissa didn't seem to care, nor catch on to what was going on around her for that matter. She just sang along and danced. After dancing and singing for some time, Scarlett noticed that Melissa had not been nowhere to be seen. She had simply disappeared off into the mob of people, and Scarlett could not find her no matter how hard she tried. With the brightly lit strobe lights and blazing fire on the stage and the crowd, it would have been nearly impossible to find her. "Melissa! Where the hell are you?" Scarlett started to panic when a growing mob of people seemed to have increased by the numbers by each passing moment. "Scarlett?" Scarlett had suddenly been startled by a man's voice who had called out to her. She looked away from the crowd and focused her gaze on the source of the sound. Standing behind her had been Aaron Scott. "Are you okay?" he asked her with a very concerned look on his face. I'm fine," Scarlett stuttered. "Are you here all alone?" Scarlett hesitated and flashed him a shy smile. No, I came here with Melissa. I don't know where she is. I'm guessing she will show up soon," Scarlett responded. Scarlett glanced at Aaron. He had been wearing all black, and his natural blonde hair had been slicked back, and his piercing green eyes had sent her into a state of a hypnotic trance. He had had a nose piercing and a nose ring. His style had been very similar to that of the main singer of the band, which wasn't surprising. Scarlett had known him to be a diehard fan of the Backmasked freaks, so him pulling something like this wasn't at all surprising. It had been something that she had not noticed before, but he had also been wearing the same shirt with the big bold red words that read, Natasha Rules. Scarlett tried to put all of this behind her and tried to enjoy the rest of the concert, and that Melissa would eventually come back to her. At least that's what she told herself. As the night continued to set in, the Backmasked freaks performed some of their other songs and some of their other hits as the raving crowd sang along with them, begging the band to perform Natasha Rules once more when it had been clear to see that the concert was nearing to end. Scarlett was stunned when she had come to the conclusion of why Melissa ditched her. She had been standing on stage singing along with the band after they had selected one particular fan to accompany them on stage. "Is everybody ready?" the leader of the band had shouted out into the crowd. "I hope you all are very fucking ready. We have to end this night well." The hit song, Natasha Rules, had started to play again, and the crowd went crazy. Clearly this song was more than a song, and it clearly had a strange hold on people. Scarlett herself had lost control of who she was, and her adrenaline rush had gotten the best of her as she sang wildly to the lyrics as the fire shot violently off into the night sky. Something had seemed very strange to Scarlett. The song had been playing for far longer than any song should have been playing, and the crowd had become more aggressive as they sang. Scarlett had suddenly stopped singing when she had become more terrified of what she'd seen. She could have sworn that the people's faces in the crowd would change. Instead of normal human faces, the faces had morphed into severe injured faces that had been masked with blood, with the other half of their faces missing. She had even seen some people lying in pools of their own blood surrounding her. But when she would blink, everything would be back to normal again. Scarlett was mortified. Nothing made any logical sense to why she'd see these type of things happening around her. Scarlett screamed, but no one seemed to have noticed nor cared. Scarlett wanted nothing more than anything but to be back at her friend's studio apartment. She started to make her way through the crowd in a desperate attempt to reach Melissa. "Melissa! We need to leave now. We shouldn't be here." She kept yelling, but Melissa remained unresponsive to her pleas. The crowd was starting to become more violent as the singing had now turned into ominous chanting. Only this time, Scarlett had noticed that everyone had been waving ritual daggers as they chanted. "We need to get the hell out of here, Melissa!" As Scarlett gazed up onto the stage at Melissa, she noticed that the main lead singer had stopped singing, but instead encouraged the crowd to keep singing. In a chilling panic, Scarlett forced her way through the crowd until she had suddenly felt a sharp pain impel her left side. She toppled to the floor in agonizing pain. She lifted up her shirt only to see blood. Blood had been everywhere. She didn't see the person who had committed the horrific assault, but she was pissed. "Are you okay?" It was Aaron's voice. Scarlett locked eyes with him. "You're bleeding," Aaron said, very concerned. Aaron offered his hand to her, helping her up. The pain was now excruciating, and Scarlett could already feel the warm crimson liquid running down her side. The crowd had been violently waving their daggers and singing. Only this time, something horrific happened. The crowd had gone completely crazy and started aiming the blades at one another. And what used to be a concert had now turned into a madhouse of a bloody horror massacre. It had been in this moment when Scarlett had come to the gut-wrenching realization that the lyrics wasn't at all the words that she had once thought, and the song had not been innocent anymore. "This is what you came for. Receive this sacrifice. Natasha rules. Ah, Satan. Hell, Satan." As soon as the lead singer said those words, the band had stopped singing and the lights shut off. The crowd was still violently shouting the lyrics, but with its true meaning now, while Aaron was still holding her. His gentle grip on her hand had now turned into a strong one, and he had refused to let her go. It was still pitch black and she couldn't see a thing. She was mortified when she heard the raging sounds of the crowd die down until it had ceased to complete silence. It was still pitch black when suddenly someone stabbed her hard. Scarlett yelped, but she knew that time was slipping away. She still hadn't known where Melissa might be or if she was even still alive. She did know that she'd be next if she hadn't gotten out of this place very soon. The lights flickered on and off until the band had started singing again. This time, all singing in demonic deep voices. When the lights came back on, she'd seen it. She had seen everything. Surrounding her had been a sea of mutilated dead bodies. Crimson liquid had been everywhere. "Melissa," she said as her eyes darted across the stage. She found her friend Melissa pinned, lifeless to a wall with rusted nails and hanging upside down on the stage, with blood running down her face, as the backmasked freaks burst into hysterics of laughter. Last I was so evil that Scarlett wouldn't be surprised if the devil himself had appeared on stage, presenting himself to the world that he was none other than just an ordinary human, pretending to be humans among the real humans. Great concert, isn't it? The horror was far from over when Scarlett had turned to see that it was her crush Aaron talking to her, and placed in his other hand had been a bloody knife. In this moment, everything had suddenly proved disastrous. Half of his face had been missing, his bare skull completely exposed while the other side of his face still exposed fleshy skin with blood smear on the side of his face. His nose ring had still been intact with his rotting nose, with one of his green eyes that had also been intact with his eye socket that stared coldly and lifeless back at her. Had it looked like this all along? Maybe the trick of light and shadows had convinced Scarlett otherwise, when she had been seeing him before. None of it mattered now. It was now or never that Scarlett knew she had to escape. The grip Aaron had had on her had been overbearing now, and he wasn't letting go. You're next to join us, Scarlett. When you spoke those lyrics and attended the concert, you joined us and become part of this ritual sacrifice. Scarlett was so scared and dumbfounded that her injuries wasn't even a concern to her anymore. She had known she had been losing an insanely amount of blood, but the terror she was feeling right now had sent her into a state of hysteria. Aaron squeezed even tighter, pulling her towards him to where she'd be facing the direction of the notorious band. Scarlett screamed in terror as she tried to break free, until she felt another sharp pain piercing through her chest, and the blade thrusting in and out of her, as the man she thought she had known before had turned out to be a complete madman. Her body started to weaken, and she was cold, with death all around her. But before she could fade into oblivion and be engulfed in forever darkness, she could hear the main leader of the band say, "Sacrifice complete." Let me know in the comment section of what you thought of that tale. If you're watching my videos on YouTube, leave a comment below and like this video. This will help others find this YouTube channel as well. If you've just discovered my dark universe, welcome. If you found me on YouTube, hit the subscribe button and bell icon to get future notifications when a new episode has been released. As usual, I would like to give a special thank you for all who support this channel and your continuous support. That is all that I have for you this evening. Until next time, sweet dreams.